Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Monday morning. Got a big show lined up, a special guest here in the studio. But first, let's take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard, and a hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. High today is going to get up to all the way to 91. That's a little bit cooler. And low is going to be down to 78. Water temperature at the end of the pier is at 87 degrees. Let's take a look at our Monday moon phase. We'll talk about it every Monday. We'd like to know what the moon's going to do for the whole week. That's why then the rest of the week we'll be talking about the river readings. But right now we're at a half moon tonight. Man, if you got to see the full moon last week, it was really spectacular, especially that on the waning side when it's sort of had an orangish glow to it. It's beautiful, beautiful moon we had. So now we're in a waning phase and they're going out. We'll have a new moon about Tuesday of next week. All right, moving on with our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're out of those neap tides, and we're getting into strong tides, especially this weekend, some really strong tides. This morning, tide is 2:35. It's a high tide going out till about 3:17 this afternoon. The winds will be coming out of the east at about 5 to 10, so that takes care of your weather. We want to get out and do some Monday fishing. It'll be a good day to do it. Let's take a break. We'll come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, folks, and welcome to our guest this Monday morning. This is Captain Chris Wynn. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Coach Chester.
Listen, it's first time on TV. The Wynn family, they're almost legendary about being fishermen here in the Florida Panhandle. There are a bunch of Wynns who love to fish.
Oh yeah.
And you went to Arnold High School.
Yep.
And so, a captain with your own guide business.
That's right.
Okay, let's show right here. Here's his business right here. They call it a Reel Screamer. I love that name. It's the fishing reel now. Okay, the Reel Screamer, and coming out of North Lagoon. How did you, Chris? How did you come up with the name Reel Screamer?
I don't know. I was just, when I was getting started, I was just trying to think of something. At one point it was going to be just Captain Chris Charters, and I was like, that's just a little too, too simple. And then it just hit me one day. I was like, that's a good one. So it's kind of stuck. And yeah. I always make a joke when we get a nice fish on and starts pulling drag real good, and I ask them if they know what that's called, and they're like, "Oh, what's that called?" That's a Reel Screamer right there.
Reel Screamer.
And so that they always like that right there.
And if you've done some serious fishing and get one of the big ones on, that reel does scream.
Oh
so
yeah.
I know your folks are excited when that happens.
They sure are. They like it a lot.
And you sort of specialize in inshore and
so we do a little bit of light tackle inshore, as well as like the near shore snapper fishing, king mackerel, stuff like that.
Isn't it nice to be able to catch all of those in the area?
It's I tell people all the time with our boats that we have, this area, we're real versatile what we can and can't do.
Yeah.
But most of the time we can just about handle anything.
And I was talking before the show, talking to Chris about his generation, the Justin Leaks and Matt Smith, the Greg Gladden, that group of his age. We're turning this over to some really good young captains, and you know all these boys.
Oh yeah.
So you and Greg Gladden play softball together?
Me and Greg Gladden play softball together. There's a handful of us that we all hang out a lot together.
We brought up something too. They get a lot of, as a guide, it's a lot of pressure every day to bring your A game. And this is sort of going into something like softball, sort of stress relieving.
It is.
It's fun.
Just change it up and give us a little break from work, even though we're fishing. Everybody thinks we're just fishing, but at the end of the day, it is a lot of work that we're having to do.
Well, look, I'm going to your website. I picked up some pictures, but you like to do some fishing yourself, right?
I do. Even on my days off, even though I'm doing it just about every day, I still do enjoy.
This was last Wednesday, I believe. But anyway, tell us about this, Chris. You were Scott and Andrew. These your cousins?
So that's Andrew's my brother.
Okay.
He fishes. We charter fish together, and then that's my cousin Scott as well. He also charter fishes. But we were fishing a drill ship offshore of Louisiana. We were live chumming these tunas, and we had a bunch of little tunas going crazy. And then all of a sudden, that big one, he just come up and just nailing the baits on the surface. And so Scott was quick enough, he grabbed a popper and slung it out there. And he worked it all the way to the boat and thought he didn't get it. And so he just had the popper sitting at the boat, like under the water, under the bow. Next thing you know, he looks at me and he's like, I got him on. And it just sat there, and all of a sudden it dumped the reel. And I was at the throttles, and I slammed it in reverse, and he almost spooled the reel. But after about 2 hours, we got him. We hooked him at sunset and fought him into the night.
And listen, you know, we're talking about reverse throttles. That in lingo of captains and all, you had to get back and get some line back.
Oh yeah,
because a fish like that was just going to take off and spool.
Yep, he hooked it off the bow. When it ran, it ran towards the stern, and you know, thought we were all right for a little while. Then I looked over and kind of off in the distance, I thought I could see the spool. So I slammed it in reverse, tried to get back as much line as we could, as fast as we could.
That's exciting, isn't it?
It was very exciting.
I know this morning. What a great memory. And look what you ended up with. Some tuna steak here. This is some quality.
Oh yeah.
Quality. Look at that.
Very important when you get those fish in the boat, try to bleed them as fast as you can and ice them down and keeps them nice and fresh like that. Gives that pretty color.
So y'all actually went out, you said, out to the Biloxi and then went out to
so I have a cousin that has a boat in Biloxi. We left out of Biloxi, and then we ran about 150 miles offshore Biloxi, kind of fishing the area the guys off of Venice, Louisiana fish.
That's some exciting fishing. The same group out of Venice, and we've been there. You sort of go in that same area. That's
we kind of fish those waters as well.
And you've seen our video. We've done it before. This is great. Next time, shoot some video and all. We'll put it on the show.
I definitely will.
Okay, so how long have you had Reel Screamers? And when did you start chartering?
I started Reel Screamer in 2018.
Okay.
That's when I started the business. And from then on, it's kind of taken off. You know, we've had a couple little hurdles along the way. We had Hurricane Michael after the first year I started.
You were starting about the same time.
And then about the time, you know, Hurricane Michael, we kind of transitioned through there and kind of felt like we were up and going again. Then COVID hit us. But thankfully, COVID is actually really good for our business, and
it really did. It brought people down.
It did bring a lot of people down here. So, but yeah, we're kind of keeping rocking and rolling. I'm thankful for all my return clients. I've got clients that have been with me for 6-7 years.
Since you first started, you told me they're coming back each year.
Yep.
And that's got to be a satisfying feeling.
I actually have one client, the lady, the wife, the first time she ever fished with me, she said she didn't know a kid was taking her fishing when she first got on the boat, but now that ever since then, she's been back with me every year.
She enjoys it. Huh?
Oh yeah, she does.
Some good special memories. Okay, look, we're going to take a break. We'll come back right back with Chris Wynn. Okay, welcome back. Captain Chris Wynn, and with the Reel Screamer charters, but he's caught all kind of fish and continues to catch them. And you have all kind of trips, don't you? Half a day, 3 hours, whatever time.
We do a little bit of everything. I mean, sometimes we run just a little kids trip if somebody wants to get out for just a couple hours, let their little kid just pull on something, just kind of get them hooked. We do little short trips like that as well.
I've watched it over the generations and all. They have this generation has adapted to those kind of things because in the old days, those guys, we're going from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, whatever you do. But now they're so adaptable and adjusted. That's helped a lot. It's a win-win for everybody.
For sure.
We got we're going to talk. We've got a tournament coming up. I'm going to show a couple more pictures. Make sure all kind of fish. Okay, here we go right here. Reel Screamer charters. And tell us about what you have right here.
So that one right there, we found a log floating in the water, and we were catching mahis, had those going. They were just flopping everywhere around the boat, and I just so happened to walk towards the back of the boat, and he just swam right up there to the boat, and
wow.
We were able to just drop a bait in the water. I washed him, eat it right off the back of the boat, and we got him in. It was awesome.
He was hungry, wasn't he?
He was.
All right, this big king mackerel.
Yeah, we were snapper fishing there, and I always like to throw a flat line out the back of the boat, and you might catch a big snapper, you might catch a big king, and sure enough, that's what happened there. And I think that fish was around 35 pounds there. That was a good one.
That would have won a lot of tournaments.
Oh yeah,
it really would have. Okay, 1 or 2 more. What do you have here?
So that one right there was a big tarpon that we caught. We actually were catching redfish off the end of the rocks. The end of the jetties there.
That tarpon came in there.
Oh yeah.
How cool is that?
And we fought that fish. We were a little undergunned when we hooked them because we weren't really fishing for them. And
isn't that a beauty? Isn't that the beauty though of a fishing? They're talking about catching big bull reds.
Oh yeah. In the summertime when we get those hard tides, those hard falling tides, flushing the crabs out of the bay, they come up and eat those on top. That's what we tend to catch right there. It's an awesome time.
And look at there.
That little boy's name right there is Nash. His dad has been fishing with me for 3-4 years now, and every year before his dad comes fishing, the kids want to go for a few hours the day before, so that's been a tradition. We take him and his little sister, or his big sister, fish for a couple hours, and then the following day, Dad and his buddies go fishing.
Hasn't the redfish been just a great fish for the kids to catch?
Oh yeah,
we catch a redfish.
We love them, and for a little while, the limits on the redfish were 2 per person, and actually, I think Matt and Justin were part of the reason why they kind of pushed back to 1, and that's actually been really nice. Starting to see definitely a lot more redfish in our bay.
And look, it's a win-win. And they're not that good to eat. We've talked about it since I started the show. We talked about just releasing those reds unless you're just starving and don't have enough money to go to Winn-Dixie. But go ahead and release them if you can. But they're a fighting fish.
Oh yeah.
And especially, of course, y'all do live bait, but sometimes top water.
And you can catch them year-round too, which is nice.
Yeah. And I know the kids and they're hanging that picture up. Okay, let's talk about this tournament now. This is going to be really cool. So we mentioned this last month. We're going to have a captain come in each month with this fishing tournament these guys are putting on and ladies are putting on. The Panama City Beach 2024 Fishing Rodeo presented by the Kramer family. They're helping financing it all. So tell us a little bit about this coming from your end.
So this tournament is more so about, as a charter perspective, it's not even for the charter, but it's for your clients.
Yeah.
They have a chance of winning something every day. But there's also a big recreational division, ladies division, and the kids division. There's all kinds of species, depending on what's in season, But we're gonna have snappers this year for recreational, just because we're gonna have snappers on the weekends, amberjacks. But yeah, it's awesome tournament, and there's all kinds of sponsors that we've got all kinds of prizes that's able to, rods and reels, hats, gift cards, whatever. It's gonna go for 10 days, I believe.
October 5th through 13th, right at that. I mean, it's going to cover 2 weekends.
Yep.
And weekends.
So I believe the first weekend, the first day is the 5th is a Saturday. There's a big free kids tournament going on. See who can catch the biggest pinfish or catfish, whatever at the dock. There's rod and reels that have been sponsored by Tarpon Dog. They're going to give away for the kids. There's going to be food trucks and all that there, bounce houses. There's a little bit of everything, and then.
That's the first weekend in October.
First weekend in October.
What a great time. We always talk about October being such a great month to go fishing.
Nice and cool, not too terribly hot. Yeah. It's awesome.
And where's it going to be located?
So the weigh-in station is going to be at Captain Anderson's Marina there.
Okay.
There's going to be a big setup there. Everything's going to be kind of blocked off in the parking lot. Have all kinds of different little tents and all that set up out there. So
when they're coming in to weigh in, they can come in at different times? You're going to have a certain
So the scales are open between 10 and 7.
Okay, between 10 and 7. So, okay, good.
And then there are daily prizes every day as well.
Yeah.
So get your picture taken, and then if you do win a daily prize, they'll call you ahead of time. That way, if you want to come down the night of, they'll hang you your little daily prize, or you can always just pick it up the next day or whatever at the marina there.
That's cool. And so many different species, and there'll be so many winners, and I'm so glad to see y'all bringing this back. At one time, there was huge tournaments going on out there.
Oh yeah.
Some traditional great tournaments.
If you look at Destin, they've been, I think this year is their 75th year, and that's we look at it like that. If we can kind of stick together and work together and get it going, we can be just like that there.
This is exactly right. And so they're all these captains are all working together, all these supporters are working together to bring this back. It's a tradition. We actually started way before Destin started. We had our tournaments, and we've talked about it on the show before, going way back to all the tournaments back in the early 1900s. And before Destin started, but Destin kept theirs going, and ours been coming and going. So y'all are working hard to bring it back. So we can support them as
and there's all kinds of different divisions. There's, if you want to go fish on the charter boat, the head boat, your own boat, land-based, kayak, pier. So there's
everything.
All kinds of opportunities for you to get out there and go fish, and maybe even win a nice little prize.
Yeah. And that's what I love about it. It's not just one little group. It's all these groups can go. Like I said, land-based, off the pier, kayak, or just any kind. So in so many different categories. We'll bring the next couple of days. We'll get together on the categories and show you all the different categories they're going to be doing. So now, you personally, or you have some of your clients already lined up, or some of them want to?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I've even had, last year we didn't have it. Unfortunately, we didn't. But from the previous years, I had clients calling asking, "Hey, the fish rodeo gonna go on again this year?" But we've already got some trips lined up. People, they just happened to call, and I let them know. I was like, "Hey, just let you know, got the fishing rodeo going back this year." So they were all excited for that.
Oh, that is cool. Okay, we're going to take a final break and come back with Captain Chris Wynn of the Real Screamer. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Appreciate your viewership. Got a great guest on this morning talking about some upcoming fishing excitement. Before we get back to Chris, or Captain Chris, let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers out of Port St. Joe. Our times, 5:30 to 7:30 right now, and tonight, 5:59 to 7:59. Being a captain, always ask people when to give their time. You have certain times when they're biting?
Oh yeah, we always try to first thing in the morning, kind of the daylight. Mm-hmm. That always helps. But the tide definitely plays a huge role.
Yep.
If I get somebody that calls wants to go catch a big bull red, if we're around those big hard outgoing tides, I always we might have to move it later in the day, mm-hmm. try to catch that tide ride, or fish earlier in the morning, try to get that tide coming in. But that definitely plays a huge role.
Yep. And this
makes our jobs a little easier when you can catch those tides right.
Talking about a guy who makes a living fishing. All right, look, this is some pictures from, let's see, from last year. Let me see. Let's go back to this one here. Oh, year before last. Okay, here we go. This is some nice fish right here. You see the different categories behind it: king, Spanish, flounder, and okay, that's some of them right there. And then let's see. Look at the kids. Look at all these things they can win. Well, Chris, what are you trying to do? Eat the fish?
He's getting a little head start.
It tastes better when they're cooked.
That's right.
You remember this one? Goodness gracious.
That was big wahoos. I think that fish was around 75 or 77 pounds there. So there's even categories like if you do like an overnight trip, that's a whole different category as well. It's, as you can see, it's extended voyage on the board there, but big tunas or wahoo or whatever you want to weigh in.
Extended voyage, I like that. So overnight trip.
Kind of helps everybody out, because sometimes if somebody goes for a day, somebody goes for 2 days rather than a day, they have a little more of an advantage over everybody else. So it kind of evens the playing field with everybody.
It really does. That was good for y'all for doing that. And then you have some other. So one more here. What is this big one right here? Let me see. What are we talking about? This one.
That's a big old amberjack right there.
Big AJ. How much? You remember how much that weighed?
I'm not sure off the top of my head how much that one weighed there.
So, as a fishing man, you see all kind of things. I'm gonna pull up this off your page here. Tell us about this. Was last summer. Tell us about this.
Oh, that was cool. I was making a move, and that was around the time everybody had been seeing a bunch of whale sharks. And being a captain, you're always kind of looking around as you're driving. I just so happened to see him with his mouth open at the surface there.
Oh,
it's probably about a quarter of a mile away. I see, and I run over there, and sure enough, that was the whale shark. That was the first one I've ever seen, so that was really cool to see there. Fortunately, there wasn't any cobias on them like they normally have, but it was still cool to see.
Well, listen, that's the thing about going out there. You just never know what's
Never know. It's always a nice surprise when you come across something like that.
What about of course, that water that day was
slick,
flat, calm.
It's nice when it's like that.
Yeah, you don't always get that.
Not at all. And even if it's not like that, we still got to go fishing.
That's the thing about it. I was asking before. I always ask my guests, what's your biggest challenge as a young captain? And like I said, you're a generation of Justin and Matt and about a good group of young captains now. And we sort of handed it over to them. So what's your biggest challenge?
I always tell people the biggest challenge is there's two things we can't control: the weather and if the fish are biting. That's definitely a big challenge that we had to overcome.
and people are paying money, of course, and they expect to results.
And we understand that it's expensive to go fishing with us, and we definitely want them to get their money's worth and show them a good time. So we always try the best we can. That's for sure.
When one of the big things, when do you decide to call off a trip? When it's just bad weather coming in?
Bad weather. If I know, if I don't feel comfortable with the guest on the boat, some people you can definitely, a little more than others. But especially if I have kids, we don't try to push it whatsoever. You don't want to scare the kids where they don't ever want to get on a boat again. Right. So
good point.
At the end of the day, it's not always about the money. We still want everybody to have a good time, and it's bad weather. We don't want to do that.
And one thing I noticed, all the locals will try to be respectful of each other. If somebody's fishing over there, we don't try to cut in front of them.
We all try to help out each other as best as we can. Even if it comes down to where the bait is. At the end of the bait's a very important part of the day. So we always try to help each other out. Yeah. If somebody knows where some bait is or somebody's struggling, we definitely help each other out. Or where some fish are, we don't give away exactly where we're catching, but point you in the right direction, and definitely helps out a lot. And I'm thankful to have a lot of other friends that fish, and we all fish together, so we kind of help each other out like that. It makes a world of difference.
It's like a little fraternity of guys, and y'all are helping each other out.
For sure.
And I know most of y'all, and I know the kind of people y'all are. And we're fortunate here in this area to have these kind of young captains who really care about the fishery, care about their clients and each other. So it's a big deal. We're going to run out of time, Chris. You want to say a special hello to anybody? You got all kinds of people on Facebook's going to be watching.
Oh yeah, a lot of friends. Can't really think of anybody off the top of my head.
That's good. So all right, so we got a tournament coming up, and Real Screamer. If you want to book them for some kind of trip, you have some friends or family coming down this fall. Get a hold of Chris and have a nice little trip. You can go. They can get a hold of you on
Facebook,
media.
or you can give me a call. There's nowadays there's a lot of ways to reach out.
Yeah, it's real easy to get them now. And we want to wish you good luck and tell Captain Mark Kelly he's sort of helping out a lot.
Oh yeah, Mark Kelly is a big part of it as well. Yeah. So there's a big core group of us that are trying to get it up and going for sure.
And we're going to continue to promote it because I really believe in it, and it's a win-win for everyone. It's going to be some fun time. So. Chris, good having you on, buddy.
Nice to be here, Coach Chester.
And come back and see us.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to come to the tournament and check you out.
Please do.
Okay.
We'd love to have you there.
Okay, man. Y'all do something good for someone else today. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors and take care of it. And God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.